My name is Joel, and I wanted to talk about my life and just basically the pain. I mean, really, just the pain and the fear. And I've been struggling for a while, a lot with a lot of fear, and just me, almost meaningless fear, but basically fear because of a question, fear because of um fear because of just not knowing, I mean, because I didn't know if it was true or not, and I was I was just scared that I just didn't know, and out of not like I just didn't know, and it freaked me out. I mean, the question of how do I know if I'm actually under control? What is actually in control of me? Like, how do I not know that I was mind controlled, and I was in conspiracies and stuff like that? And like, I just struggled with that, and I still almost feel like I still got a little bit of that fear and trauma, but it just, even though it slightly hurts, it just kind of make I mean, it's confusing. I just honestly, it's like almost, it's almost paralyzing. I mean, most people don't go ask their question like, oh, what is controlling me? I did, and I mean, out of doing so, I mean, I discovered a lot of things that were going on in this planet, and I like not I mean, not wars and conspiracy, but I mean things going on inside of me, like the connection between the inside of me and the outside of me. I managed to, instead of just separate them, like, oh, my thoughts are my thoughts, they got nothing to do with the outside. I finally started connecting the dots between what was going inside of me and what was going outside of me, and started seeing, wow, the thoughts are what is running everything. The thoughts are what is making the outside realm. And like, I started to see and everything, and feel energies, and be able to be more conscious and like connected to things, at least to what was going on around me. And I mean, I went through like a religious thing where I was just about the law and having to be a certain way, and because I was just so scared of what was happening, that that went away. But now I seem to be back again, and like, it's just what I'm really trying to get across is I was scared because I just didn't know, and because out of not knowing, I went insane, and I did a bunch of stupid things, and I just ran around in circles like a chicken with its head cut off, because I wasn't facing the fact that the problem was that it's not that I didn't know and I should be concerned and try to know. It's just that I was just what like I just was like, I just didn't even realize that the problem is not that I didn't know and I needed to know so that way I don't get hurt. Is that the hell in it, the real problem, that the fear was out of like, oh, I don't know what the worst thing that can happen, and the worst thing did happen. Like, the worst thing that can happen, that's what I was scared about. And like, having this fear trip over is out of fearing. I was afraid of get hurt, and it's out of like constantly being in that fear, out of being afraid of being hurt. That's what it is. That's what fear is. Just you wanting to stay away from being hurt. Like, you just don't want to be hurt. And honestly, that's where the hell is. The hell is, you don't want to get hurt, so you do a bunch of things to prevent yourself from getting hurt. Try to find out all this knowledge so that way you're safe. Try to prevent yourself from being hurt from all these things. When the problem is not that. The problem is, you should get past that. You should get past, okay, so these things can or will not, or whatever, if they can or not, whatever, can hurt you. They can do it physically, but the thing, it's not about your physical body, it's about you. And you're just afraid to get hurt spiritually. Like, you yourself, like to feel that pain inside yourself. And honestly, and the hell is not hell, like hell itself. Like, if even being in hell shouldn't be something that should hurt you. I mean, you shouldn't be afraid to go to hell. You shouldn't. I mean, it's not about going to hell. You're not going there. You have it in you. The hell is actually you being constantly, like, in 24/7 fight or flight response all the time about being hurt. And the problem is people are just afraid to get hurt. They just don't want to get hurt, and they can't come to face the fact that the problem is not the things that can or might or who knows if whatever can hurt you. The problem is that you just can't deal with the pain, that you just don't want to deal with it. That you can't deal with the pain because it's too much for you. That's the problem. That is a problem with the world. I don't care if it, like the freaking, like you know, like I was in a, like, chemtrail, like GMO engineering, and, like, you know, people bullying each other, people hating each other, wars, like drugs and whatever the heck, all this other stuff, trauma, drama, whatever, conspiracy, like I was saying. Okay, now I'm doing that again. Bad habits are hard to get away, but what I'm trying to say is just deal with your freaking pain, man. I mean, the problem is not you. It's not the things that can hurt you that are the problem. Is that you can't deal with the pain of being hurt by it, and it's you running around like a chicken with his head cut off. That's driving you insane. And until you see that, and I don't mean, oh yeah, I know, yeah, you may know, but you haven't gone through the renewal. It's like saying you know how to fix a car. You realize what the problem is. It's the fuel injectors are clogged, you know, but you don't know how to fix them. You haven't done anything to them, so you know that the problem is that, but you don't know how to fix it. You don't know how or which one's the one that's the problem. You haven't done anything. You haven't gone through the experience yet. You haven't actually fixed it yet. You just know what the problem is, but you haven't fixed it yet. A lot of people are like that now. They just know what the problem. Yeah, I know eating this stuff is bad for me. I know it's just because of this that I'm you know, like, angry and insane. I know. Oh, I know. Yeah, and like you know when somebody's being ignorant, when they kept talking over you, telling, oh yeah, and they get all like in like anxiety, or like they can't even control their own vocal cords, and just start talking over you because they know. You may know, but you haven't fucking done it yet. You haven't gone through it. And honestly, like, that was my problem. It's like saying, you know, you're scared of this or scared of that or whatever, but you haven't dealt with it. You haven't actually experienced it, gone through it, and actually done the actual healing itself. And until you have, it's still gonna be the same fucking hell. So, my friend, don't worry about fucking, you know, going to hell. Don't worry about heaven. Don't worry about your job. Don't worry about what the worst thing that can happen. Because honestly, I tell you now, the only thing you should be concerned about is dealing with your fucking shit inside yourself. The pain, the trauma, the fear, the struggle, every day waking up and having to deal with all this bullshit. And honestly, realizing that it's not the shit outside that's the problem. And sure, you know, all this stuff can hurt you physically, like you can hurt your body, obviously. But the worst, I weighed 155. And I was eating GMOs, I was eating fat, I was eating at restaurants. And I mean, hell, and then I started to eat healthy and stuff like that and whatnot. And I mean, sure, whatever. But because of that fear trip, because of my fear, I mean, honestly, and it might also have been the food, I lost 40 pounds in like a matter of months. I've been trying to lose weight for so long, and you know, whatever, still eating all that food. But honestly, that fear caused me to just, like, it was just constant. It just made me lose so much weight. I was just in a constant fight or flight response. And man, that made me like just like lose all that weight out of anxiety. And honestly, that was hell itself. And it's honestly, it took me so long to just realize that all you really have to do, I mean, seriously, is just very simple. Just realize that you're just afraid to be hurt, and you just need to accept being hurt. You need to accept that pain, grab it, deal with it, and move on. If not, the biggest hell is you keeping it inside. Peace, my brothers.